green flag is out with a standing start at Watkins Glen, and Bandit GT3 is green, and they've instantly crashed. Instantly. They didn't even make it 15 feet. And they've crashed. So what was a standing start ends farcically. Let's see what happened with Dylan Van Wart. Or just puts too much wheel into it. Nick Pressey in the number 94 Porsche gets collected. And that's absolutely not how we wanted this to go. Let's go on board with Nick Pressey. Now let's go on board with Tommy Withers. And Toby Estes will lead this race. The pace car will now just, I'm beside myself. I had no idea that's how we were going to start a race. Steph is in the chat. She says, happy Monday, aftermath of a nor'easter up here in Massachusetts. Yeah. In Michigan, we know a thing or two about that. And absolutely, everybody needs to stay safe out there too. Thomas Andrews, who runs in Thursday Night Thunder, and is a big part of Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Shout out Drip, they keep us going. He's in the New York area, and he got hit big too. So, yeah, hoping everybody stays safe with all that snow. Luckily, it wasn't terribly bad out here. And I think as far as spring goes, we're probably in the last few moments of winter where you're thinking, okay, you know, we can make it through this. One more snowstorm and this crap will be over, and then we just got to deal with slush for 3 weeks and we're good. Right? That's exactly how it works. Anyway, if you just tuned in, you've missed the most ridiculous start in the history of sim racing. Now, going into the bus stop, Toby Estes sits in the first position in the number 8 Red Bull Mustang. Steven Choate in the number 72 White Mustang sits behind Toby Estes. New Jersey's Colin McDonough sitting in the third position in his purple Porsche. Tommy Withers from Fredericksburg, Virginia. He runs in fourth in the white and orange Chevrolet Corvette. Dakota Pierce running something looking out of Ryan Hunter-Ray when he drove the Andretti DHL car. Sitting in fifth where he started this race. Then there's Dylan Van Wart back there in the 8th position. Let's see if we can bother him real quick and just find out what in the world happened with that start. Dylan, Rick James in the house. Can you hear me?
Yep.
What happened?
I honestly don't even know. I just lost it and it went around.
From my position, it looks like... Sorry, from my position, it looks... And again, I'm sitting up here in the booth. You're sitting in the sim rig right now. Just, what, cold tires? Too much, a little too much power on the start?
Yeah, I think I just gave it too much whatever on the start. And I lost it from out from underneath me. Wasn't my finest moment for sure.
Hey, it happens. I think everybody now gets to start, single file now. We'll get the cars lined back up, and we should go green next time by. Now, the fuel situation. I was going to say it's going to be about 16 laps, but now the race has been shortened by a few laps considerably, so everybody should be good to go on fuel.
Yeah, should be. We shall see, of course, but I think as long as you're not first car in line, you probably will have enough fuel.
All right, buddy. This time, don't spin the tires on the start and have fun.
I'll do my best.
The New Jersey pilot's going to be restarting in the 8th position. We have a lot of New Jersey representation. We've got Van Wart in 8th, Colin McDonough in 3rd. Is Stephen Choate also from New Jersey? No, Billings, Montana. Why the hell did I think Stephen Choate was from New Jersey? Nick Pressy's from New York, so not New Jersey, but, you know, right next door. I think Steph's in the chat. She's from Mass. So just a lot of Northeastern representation in the first night of Bandit GT3. Toby Estes will have control of the field with the lights on top the pace car. Fixing some things up. It's not a Rick James broadcast if something doesn't go wrong here. Anyway, we're going to try and bring a little more excitement into this. We're going to double up the restart. We're going to have actual racing, finally. Toby Estes and Stephen Choate will have control of the field. And the reason we're under caution is disaster on what we thought was going to be a great standing start. Let's go to Dylan Van Wart in 8th. He's running 8th now. Spins the tires on the start. Nick Pressey goes around. Craig Yore also caught a piece of this as well. Let's see what happened to the Australian. Yore by himself spinning the race car. He runs in the 10th position. Our race leader, Toby Estes, is in 1st. It's right around with Craig while he catches back up through the field. You know, while we're here, because we're doing this for fun, I might... This is just me thinking out loud, because I have the fun little caution button under my finger. We should just throw a caution on the last lap, or coming to the last lap, bunch them all up for a green-white checker. Since we got robbed of the first few laps of racing here, we'll see if we can extend some overtime and get back what we lost. So we're going to go double file. Stephen Choate and Toby Estes will have control of the field. Let's call this the unofficial start of the race. You put 10 guys on a track, they can't handle the standing start. Can you imagine such a thing? Whatever. New series, we're throwing caution to the wind. We'll see what literally throwing caution to the wind, and we'll actually see what happens when we get these race cars moving again. Greensburg, Kentucky, and one of the Bluegrass Bandits, actually, that this series is mostly named for. It's a very, very long story. But it can only go uphill from here, right? Bandit GT3 doesn't make it more than 50 feet before the first caution comes out. So, you know what? Let's just put them double file and let's see what happens on a more American-style restart. The Mustangs at the front. Green flag will come out. Now we're racing for real. Toby Estes gets us started at Watkins Glen. Nick Pressey might have had an incident already in that 94. Patrick Allen also involved. Toby Estes leading. Colin McDonough second. Tommy Withers third. James Kerr in fourth. Dakota Pierce rounding out the top five. Let's see what happened on the fifth lap of competition. Patrick Allen in the Rainbow Ferrari. Spins it himself. Then let's see what happened with Stephen Choate. There he is in that 72. He goes around. Nick Pressey also gets collected in the 94. Dylan Van Wert in the 32 gets a piece of that. Toby Estes unharmed at the front of this one. Fourth place up for grabs. Dakota Pierce and James Kerr. Just disastrous start. Like, on both occasions, and we're not done with the incidents there. This is the fight for third. There's fourth. Toby Estes and Colin McDonough separated by 1 1/3 seconds. Dakota Pierce in fourth. Jimmy Kerr running in fifth. And Pierce wants third. Let's go on board with the Acura. And they still go on. Dakota Pierce now behind Tommy Withers. Toby Estes goes purple. He's got the fastest lap so far. Pierce now trying to get a piece of that Corvette. Withers holding on to third through the boot section of Watkins Glen. Jimmy Kerr trying to catch up in that Ford Mustang. Stephen Choate following. He was involved in that crash right on the restart. Toby Estes by himself to the tune of 1.6 seconds back to Colin McDonough. And counting. McDonough goes wide out of the corner, and he's got to put the brakes on literally in his Porsche. Dakota Pierce now starting to lose the gap to Tommy Withers. And there you see 3 drivers in the pits: Dylan Van Wart, Patrick Allen, Craig Yore, involved in a lap 5 incident. The restart, starting calamitous. Van Wart, Craig Yore, Nick Pressey, all involved in a crash. We'll take more of a look at what happened on lap 5, but right now, Dakota Pierce all over the back end of Tommy Withers, headed into the bus stop. There goes the NSX, but he just can't pull off the move. Withers still holds on to 3rd. There goes Withers, and it's a huge shunt into the wall, headed right into the boot section. Stephen Choate will go around. Jimmy Kerr also off the track. And Van Wart might, look at that, just weaving through all those cars that have crashed. Tommy Withers now struggling to make it through. Stephen Choate in 4th, Dakota Pierce in 3rd now. Toby Estes just gets faster, 1:45.11. 1.8 seconds ahead of Colin McDonough. Stephen Choate running in the 4th position. And an injured Tommy Waitman, he is struggling to bring that thing into the pits. We'll check out what happened to Withers as well. Van Wart technically a lap down, but if he keeps his nose clean, he might just be in prime position here. There goes Withers. He's got to take it nice and easy now. Colin McDonough just went purple for what it's worth. He's 2 seconds behind Toby Estes. 1:45.07 last time at the stripe. .6 seconds that gap. Colin McDonough may have gone fastest, but at what cost? Toby Estes now pulling away by a huge order. Tommy Withers will finally bring it into the pits. Dylan Van Wart in what says Snark Racing across the front of that Corvette. He's now trying to overtake Tommy Withers. If Withers can use a fast repair, he might just beat Dylan Van Wart out of the pits for 6th. 1:45.07, Colin McDonough last time around, but now he's 3 seconds behind this guy, Toby Estes. The Greensburg, Kentucky pilot crosses the line with a 3-second gap to Colin McDonough. Tommy Withers is in the pits. Dylan Van Wart coming out of the boot. This is 6th place on the line. Cars are getting quicker. Colin McDonough went personal best on that lap. Stephen Choate, personal best last time around, 1:45.15. Jimmy Kerr running in 4th. Dakota Pierce is in the pits in his NSX. Maybe he's getting enough fuel to finish the rest of this race. Maybe he knows there's going to be one more caution before this one's over. We're just going to make it up as we go along, because why not? If the race started with 2 cautions, just, you know, within 10 seconds of the race going green, I think it's just fair to let's bunch them back up with a couple of laps to go and get as much racing in as possible. Colin McDonough currently running in second. Toby Estes went purple, 1:43.97. Let's go for a lap with Toby. Ten laps underway of the scheduled 16 and possibly more if the caution comes out. Toby Estes sits ahead of Colin McDonough by 4 seconds. James Kerr III went green last time around. His personal best of 1:52.03. If you just tuned in, it's been a mess. And Craig Yore, did he just spin coming out of the pits after that crash as well? Dakota Pierce, he actually hasn't been involved in any incidents, and it looks like he's just wrecked his NSX. He's going to jump to the pits. Let's see what happened to Craig Yore. This is immediately coming out of the pits. Just moving at a slow pace, trying to get it together. Let's see what happened to Dakota Pierce on lap 10. Right into turn number 1, comes in way too hot and way too fast. Yeah. Kind of what happened with Tommy Withers here in the boot. Check this out on lap 7. This is coming into the boot with Dakota Pierce behind him. And the 6 will lose control. There goes Dakota Pierce. This is Patrick Allen on lap 5. He's already crashed the Ferrari. Now there's Stephen Choate just backing into traffic, getting Dylan Van Wart and Nick Pressey involved there as well. Let's see what happened with Stephen Choate. Yeah, Choate just reverses right there into oncoming traffic and doesn't put the brakes on. It's at least the wheels keep moving in a backwards direction. We'll have another look at that. Right now, Toby Estes still ahead of Colin McDonough by 2.8 seconds, and they've been hovering around this 3-second mark for some time. Stephen Choate in the 72 rolling in third with James Kerr in fourth, but 36 seconds behind. Kerr, the last car on the lead lap. He's coming up through the S's right now. Toby Estes going through the exit of the boot and Colin McDonough behind him. It's right on board with the driver of the 39. All right, so we're going to get as much racing in as we possibly can here, because why not? We can do whatever the hell we want, so let's do it. We are going to bunch these cars back up, coming to the white flag. We are going to have our green-white checkers exercised here. We do get 3 attempts at it, so we're going to give it everything we've got. So let's recap here. Toby Estes right now ahead by 3.7 seconds, and it might throw a little bit of pit strategy into it, knowing that drivers are going to get their laps back. We're going to have some fun with it. So let's have some fun with it. Colin McDonough in second, Stephen Choate in third, James Kerr the third will come down into the pits. Is that a skeleton pony on the car? That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Gotta love the creativity. You just gotta love the creativity. Tommy Withers decides he's going to crash his Corvette again. This is the second time for the Virginian. He just threw it into the corner, and this time, if he hasn't used the fast repair already, he's going to need it. Let's go on board with Withers. And the caution is going to come out. Huge wreck for Tommy Withers. So Toby Estes will have control of the field. And I think we are going to have a green-white checker here. So anyway, are we going to have enough? Are we going to have enough laps to finish this race here?
Yeah, we've got enough fuel.
All right, we have enough fuel to finish this race. Now, the first two cautions, we're going to roll these back here. But obviously on the standing start, I think it threw everybody for a loop. We can forgive folks for that. But we're looking now at Dylan Van Wart. What did you make of the start? Did you have any idea that a standing start was going to be that chaotic?
I did not. I'm not going to lie. I do like the standing start. That's not the issue. But I think it took a lot of guys off guard there, and they did not practice a standing start, or just didn't know how to run turn one off of the standing start. I don't know exactly what happened there, but I think the standing start is a good idea, though.
All right, we'll look into it for next week. Speaking of next week, where are we? We're going to Daytona next week as well, so we might even see some rain in the mix. This is the first time we've done any sort of, at least that I can think of, like actual organized GT3 racing that we've cared to broadcast. But I'm having a thrill with this. Are you at least having fun?
Yes, because at a track like this, you're not only racing other people, but you're racing yourself. You know, you're not trying to push it too hard, and then you're not trying to save too much. I think I burnt a little too much tire there, so we'll see how my pace is for these last few laps. But it should be interesting, especially I think I got a Porsche behind me, so we'll see how the speed is on the Porsche on the straights.
I'm sure Colin's going to be interested to get that first win, but realistically speaking, he was lagging by about 3 to 4 seconds when the caution came out. Now, Stephen Choate's going to stay out. Dylan Van Wart will stay out. Now, James Kerr also pitted before the caution came out as well. So, you think you're fast enough where you don't need the fresh tires and you have enough fuel to finish this?
I think it's going to come down. Every car has its pros and cons. My con is my straight line speed isn't that good. But going in the bus stop, I feel like my car is pretty planted here, so we'll just have to see who's willing to risk it for the biscuit here, I guess. Because I think going into the bus stop, you're going to see some people going in a little harder than other drivers, but we'll just have to see how it goes.
All right, man. Have fun with it. Don't wreck the cars too much. And hopefully everybody can bring their cars home in one piece. Hopefully we talk to you at the end, too.
All right, see you, man.
So I think drivers are going to get wave arounds. We're going to bunch everybody back up, and we'll make sure that everybody gets home safely in one piece for what it's worth in sim racing. If you just tuned in, we're kind of making it up as we go along, I guess. The first couple of cautions, just cars going haywire. That standing start was crazy. And then lots of cars crashing. This is on the restart here on lap number 5. Keep your eye on Steven Choate. Locks the wheels. Looks like he kicks it into reverse. Right into oncoming traffic. Nick Pressey also involved in that one. There's Dylan Van Wart. Tommy Withers on lap 7. Right in front of Dakota Pierce. Check this out. And then on lap 11, deja vu for the Virginian. Same time next week, Tommy Withers. Matter of fact, let's bother Tommy Withers about it real quick. Is he on the track? Not sure. I think he might be scored out of this race. I'm not really sure. Yeah. That's okay. So we're going to stack them. We're going to bunch everything up here. Lost too many laps to cautions, so we'll see what we can make of this in the last several circuits. Toby Estes, Stephen Choate, Colin McDonough running 1, 2, and 3. Dylan Van Wart in the 4th position, but he came down into the pits, so he's going to come back around and slot himself into 4th. James Kerr in 5th. Patrick Allen in 6th. Craig Yore in what I think is the best looking car here, the Marlboro McLaren, runs in the 7th position. Now, normally we would expect these cars to line up in order here, but I think with the sports car rules, the cars that are laps down aren't mandated to stay behind the rest. Or, I'm really not sure how this is going to work out. This is the first time we've done this sort of GT3 racing, so we're going to figure this out one way or the other. We're getting more racing. That's the point, right? We're getting more sim racing. That's all that matters. Estes, Choate, McDonough running 1, 2, 3. Father Stephen Choate one time. Stephen Choate, Rick James up top. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
You have the fastest guy all day right next to you and 2 laps to beat him. Do you have a chance?
I'm gonna give it my shot, like my all here. I don't know. We're close to times, but I don't know. These cold tires are gonna be a little bit of a problem with these cautions, so we got to be easy into the first corner and into all the corners after that. It's going to take a while for the tires to get back up to temp. I don't even think they're going to get all the way up to temp by the time the race is over. So we'll see what we can do, but I'm going to give it my best shot.
Briefly tell us what happened on that caution on the restart. You slid out of turn number 1, and it looked like the car just rolled backwards into traffic.
Yeah, the brakes in these, it just slides. There's no, because that little stretch right there into the S's is a little bit of a downhill. So when you're on the brakes, it's like you're just gonna slide. There's not really much you can do about it. But those cold tires are not fun into that first corner, and I just looped it. But we're gonna give it our shot to get back up to the front and see if we can pull off a win.
Keep it in one piece. Have fun.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
We do have 3 attempts at this. We'll see if we use all 3. I bet you we use more than 1. Toby Estes and Steven Choate at the front with control of the field. The green flag is out and 2 laps to settle it. Patrick Allen forcing the issue on the inside line. Dylan Van Wart goes around him. Colin McDonough still in 3rd through the S's now. Two Mustangs and a Porsche running 1, 2, 3. Steven Choate in 2nd. Colin McDonough falling well off the pace going through the bus stop. Now around the carousel. Toby Estes with the advantage. Dylan Van Wart in 4th. James Kerr still in 5th, but well off of this pack. Patrick Allen running in 6th. Toby Estes spins. There goes the race leader. Choate also spins. McDonough goes around both Mustangs. Van Wart in 2nd. Steven Choate still being scored in 3rd. This is the bronze medal on the line. Colin McDonough to the lead at Watkins Glen. And the caution is out. We're going to try this one again. Lap number 16. Both Mustangs. Synchronized spins. Noah Belleville in the house. He says, do it for Dale. Let's talk to Toby Estes real quick. We'll bring him in. Toby Estes, briefly here. Let's see if we can just find out what happened from the man himself. Cold tires, just too much brake into the corner. What happened? Toby Estes, Rick James, you got me? One more time. Toby Estes, Rick James, can you hear me?
I got you, brother.
All right, sorry about that. That's my own fault. All right, we're looking at your fantastic crash going into the boot. What happened?
Just trying to push it a little too hard there. And, unfortunately, when the Mustang is, when the tires are a little hard, it's not very good under braking. So, yeah, that's on me.
We'll talk to Steven
Should've went
Choate.
green there, but
Yeah, exactly. We should have gone green, absolutely. But hey, that happens. All right, so we'll figure this out here from Steven Choate as well. But now, what's the plan? Because you're sitting in 3rd with a damaged race car. Are you coming into the pits to fix it up, or we're just gonna go?
no, I think I'm gonna have to pit here because in these cars, the aero is key. So if my wing's damaged coming into a high-speed corner, I'm kind of cooked. So I'm gonna have to pit here and see if we can't. I'm pretty sure I got a faster pair left, so that's good.
All right, buddy, fix it up.
I'll have to pray. I'll have to pray and hope somebody else messes up. I don't know.
Well, let's talk to Steven Choate real quick, Toby. We'll let you go to work. Steve-O, real quick, what happened there? Toby said he just tried to push the car a little too hard into the corner. Is that what happened with you?
Kinda. I was trying to cross him over, and when he lost it in front of me, I had to check up, and that's just it's a really tough spot there on that specific turn. where if you're on the brakes too hard, it just shifts the car weird, and it just looped around. I thought I had it, and then I tried to throttle out of it, and it just went around on me. But thankfully, I didn't hit anything, so I think we're still good to go. But just unfortunate.
All right, buddy. Hopefully, we use our second green-white checker to good use. Hopefully, we talk to you at the end of the show and you get that podium, man. Have fun.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
How about this guy? Came down right before the pits. Colin McDonough leading this race. Let's talk to Colin real quick. Let's see if we can get a word from Colin McDonough. Rick James up top. Can you hear me?
How's it going, Rick?
Aaron Edwards in the house, and Steph's in the house cheering for you as well. Aaron says it's your race to lose, Colin. Don't choke this one away. No pressure, by the way. Dylan Van Wart, Toby Estes, Steve, everybody who isn't named Colin McDonough or Dakota Pierce, who's running in 7th, by the way, came into the pits. Now,
Yeah, I pit earlier because I had a strange feeling that we were gonna get a green-white checkered, and I knew that with the fuel load on these cars, it wasn't enough to make it. So I figured I'd just load it up a little bit. The Porsche definitely rewards you for having a little bit of extra fuel in it for the balance. So I made that early call on the last stop to pit, and I guess, you know, I didn't expect we were going to get another caution, but then there were 2 Mustangs right in front of me in the heel of the boot or whatever, wherever that was. So, yeah, this one kind of got handed to me. I think Aaron Edwards is 100% correct. It's my race to lose, so I better not make any mistakes.
Now, you have the buffer of Dylan Van Wart, who's in 2nd, but he's also got Craig Yore in the Marlboro Mustang, and then Dakota Pierce in the DHL NSX. I said Marlboro Mustang. That's not right. That's the McLaren. Yours in the McLaren. See, I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to talk to you when I should be paying attention. Anyway, it's 2 cars between you and 2nd place. Do you think that they're going to get out of the way?
We'll see what race control says. I have a strange feeling they are going to get out of the way.
Well, Colin, I am race control.
There's been quite a bit of chatter over the radios asking about which lap cars should be where. So, hey, if the 2 of them stay there, then that's a nice buffer to have. I know Dylan was quick in practice. He was quick in qualifying. So I know that he can get me. He's got the pace, but I also know Dylan and I know each other pretty well, and I don't think he's gonna, push the issue too hard, because the last thing we want to do is crash each other out.
I'm interested. Now it's what was the it was Hamilton versus Verstappen, and race control had moved the lapped cars out of the way and put Verstappen right on Hamilton's wing with what, 1 lap to go in the World Championship?
I think so. I think it was it a 1 or 2 lap shootout when they went green? I can't remember now.
1 or 2 laps. I have no idea, but that's where we're at. That's the kind of racing that we're producing here. Formula One
and
World
Dylan
Championship
did
levels
just
of racing.
hit, so he's definitely Max Verstappen in this scenario.
Dylan Van Wart, I'm going to spoil it. He did not pit. Dakota Pierce also did not pit. Van Wart, yeah, he's up there, and that was definitely not me.
I could have sworn I saw Dylan Van Wart go down pit road.
That was 100% not me. Let's not forget that Toby Estes also runs the show, and he's your on-track race control. So I'm willing to bet while you and I were conversing, actual stuff was happening while we were just BSing. I'm going to let you get back to work here.
Steven Choate's got pace. Dylan's got pace. So it's going to be interesting from here on out.
The pride of New Jersey is on your shoulders, my friend. Everybody in Trenton is watching this right now. If you win this race, you will never have to buy another drink in Trenton again.
If only, man. If only.
Have fun. half a lap to green. If you just tuned in, it has been ridiculous. And I mean that in every sense of the word, both good and bad. Since we've got half a lap to green, let's see if we can cover everything that has happened. This race started crazy. This is McDonough on the race start. He came out just fine. Craig Yore and Dylan Van Wart did not. Cressy involved. That's on green. On the word go. 2 cars. Spilling. Patrick Allen in the Ferrari. He's going to spin off in turn number 1. Stephen Choate, several feet later, he's going to spin out of turn number 1 also. Nick Cressy will get involved here. He gets caught. So does Dylan Van Wart again. That's turn 1, right after the green flag. Patrick Allen, lap number 6. Slow coming out of the pits. Tommy Withers on lap 7. Backs his Corvette right into the wall. Dakota Pierce on lap number 10. Through turn number 1. Jimmy Kerr, lap number 15. We're about to go green here. So many more incidents, but everybody's had a piece of something tonight, and it's all going to culminate into this. Everyone's had a chance to screw up, and now we're bunched back together, and let's see what we got here. Colin McDonough, Dylan Van Wart. Don't forget, Toby Estes is in 5th. Stephen Choate right in front of him. I think this is our 2nd green-white checkered attempt, if I can count, but I probably can't. So we'll see what happens this time. Green flag flies at Watkins Glen. Terrible start by Van Wart. McDonough off to the lead. Choate to the outside. Stephen Choate with a really wide exit out of 1. McDonough will lead in the S's. There goes Choate. He's along the wall. McDonough will lead. He's got Toby Estes behind him. Porsche versus Ford versus Chevrolet. 1, 2, 3. McDonough just ahead of Estes. Into the boot. White flag this time by. Super wide exit by Toby and Dylan. Both cars damaged. McDonough's race to lose now. Huge hits into the wall. They still have pace. 2nd place now might be on the line for Toby Estes. Norman in the chat says, do they know they go faster if they don't hit anything? I don't think so. But we're about to find out. White flag this time by Colin McDonough, 9/10 of a second over Toby Estes. Van Wart in 3rd. 5th place, hotly contested. .2 seconds the gap. Colin McDonough does not need to rush. The final lap is on. He just needs to simply not crash. Estes on the chase. 1 second the gap. On board with Toby. Half a second the gap. Colin McDonough's Porsche against Toby Estes Ford. The 911 leads into the boot. The Mustang follows close, and the Corvette chasing in third. Meanwhile, both Mustangs fighting for fourth. Kerr in fourth, Choate in fifth. First place on the line. One more shot for Toby Estes. Fourth place between the Mustangs. Stephen Choate makes the move. Toby Estes right behind Colin McDonough, and 2 more corners to go. There goes Toby. He's given it everything, and it's cost everything. Dylan Van Voort to second. Toby Estes in third. Here comes the NSX, not for position, and he survives them all. 20-plus laps of racing. Trenton's Colin McDonough crosses the line and wins race 1 in Bandit GT3. To the Mustangs, Stephen Choate in fourth. Jimmy Kerr in third. Trying to avoid Toby Estes going backwards. Choate finishes fourth. Choate finishes third. Kerr in fourth. Toby Estes just gets in front of Patrick Allen for fifth. Colin McDonough victorious. I said this before the green. This has been the most ridiculous night of racing I've seen in my entire life. I didn't say exactly that, but I'll say it now. This has been, for anybody that watches this, has watched this channel before, and has seen Mazda Mondays, that has been the craziest crap we have done until now. This tops all of that. This is fantastic. I can't wait to do this next week. And by the way, we're doing this 5 more times. 5 more times. I have no idea what the hell those two are doing, but we're doing this 5 more times. Next Monday, these guys are at Daytona. TNT is going to happen. Between that, road course racing is unbelievable. For anybody that doesn't like road course racing, let sim racing be your gateway to sports cars and road course racing. So Thursday night, a lot of these guys, Colin McDonough, Jimmy Kerr, Toby Estes, Tommy Withers, Nick Pressey, they will be racing this Thursday on this channel at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the Montreal Canadian Grand Prix circuit. That's this Thursday, and then next Monday, we're going to do this again at Daytona. Racing is the greatest thing in the world. Argue with a wall. So Colin McDonough will cross the line victorious. He'll do some celebrations. And I don't know if he can do donuts in a Porsche, but I suppose we're going to find out. And he's going to wreck the thing. And how? All right, well, let's put this craziness to an end. We're going to collect our drivers. We're going to have our top 3 in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. There we go. On the podium with our top three. This has been just a bunch of technical errors left and right, but we're going to get this sorted one way or the other. Let's start with third place in the number 72, Stephen Choate. Talk about an exciting race from start to finish, man, but just calamity from start to finish as well. Are these cars a handle, a big deal to get a handle of?
They are, especially on cold tires. Once you get a couple laps on them, they drive like a dream. I've always loved driving the Mustang around. But yeah, no, they're a little bit difficult on those restarts, just with how long the lap is. So it gives the tires a chance to cool way down. They actually get colder than when you first start the race. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there. But
all right, and then next Monday, we're going to take these things to Daytona. Can we count on you being there?
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely love that combo, so I will definitely be there for sure.
Can we count on you wrecking less?
I will definitely do my best. That last little incident, we looked back at it, and it was just a racing deal. It was went for the same spot on the track, and just an unfortunate end, but I was able to limp it back around for third. It was unfortunate that Toby, he lost it in the last corner, so that was able to get me to third, but I'll take it.
We'll see you in a week's time. Let's talk to Dylan Van Wart, second place after wrecking twice. Where in the world did that come from?
That's the beauty of car racing, right? Yeah, I didn't think I had any chance at being on the podium after the first, never mind the second wreck. But things played in my favor and ended out working out. I'll take it.
We got Daytona in a week's time. You're going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see Dylan Van Wart at Daytona in a week's time. And hopefully, less crashes. Now, one guy who didn't crash, how about our race winner, one Colin McDonough? Did you think that was going to happen?
No, Rick, I did not think that was going to happen. Toby and Steven had significantly better pace than I did. I knew those Mustangs were fast, and when we had that restart with the two of them on the front row, coming up the hill, I knew I could hang with them in the draft, but I wasn't about to try anything into the bus stop. I think Toby was a full second or second and a half a lap faster than I was on pace. So going into that final restart, the moment Toby got behind me, it was nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was gonna be able to make a move at some point, but he was very patient with me, and unfortunately he made a mistake. So here I am.
Aaron Edwards is in the chat. He's pumped up for you. I think Steph is in the chat as well. Still, she's actually celebrating this. And of all the cars that crashed, you definitely, I don't remember you getting into any major incidents in this race. Now, of course, dealing with all the crap that happened in this race, I can't remember a single thing that happened beside you winning, but your car is in mint condition.
Yeah, I think the only crashing I did was after the checkered flag, trying to power through the traction control to do some donuts for you. But yeah, I somehow managed to scoot around Mustangs on. I think I avoided 3 Mustangs that just got tail happy in front of me.
Nevertheless, it was a fantastic race. Entertaining to say the least, right? Entertaining to say the least. And of course, now you got to go for 2 wins in a row at Daytona.
Oh, man. We'll see about that. It's not... I've turned a lot of laps at Daytona, but I know there are some other drivers in here that have really good pace there. So we'll see what happens next week.
We'll see what happens next week. Go celebrate your win, and we'll talk in a minute, I guess.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, I've had enough. Anybody else had enough? I've straight up had enough. Thank you so much for just hanging out, kicking it with us, having a good time. Racing is awesome, isn't it? It's just the greatest thing on planet Earth, and we're going to keep doing it because it's fantastic. Shout out to the folks at Drip Diecast. They keep us going every single time we do this. Check them out on eBay. They are your #1 source for NASCAR diecast and more. Drip Diecast on eBay. Check them out. Gen 4 Racing right here, this same channel, same time, 8:40 at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the Montreal GP. And then next Monday night, we're going to take these crazy guys and we're going to do it again. GT3 Racing at